My name's Nathan and I've been riding for 40 years. I was born into it. Dad was bike mad, my sister was bike mad, my brother was bike mad, everyone was bike mad in our family. And I wanted and waited and wished every time I blew birthday candles out, for a motorbike. And it didn't happen until I was 8 years old. A little MX-80 Yamaha, I think it cost about $180. And with Dad, we rebought it and put a piston in it, and I rode that around and around and learned how to ride, and I was just obsessed. Historic racing just came about because I'm really not that interested in modern bikes, and modern bikes go too quick, and the more I learn, the better I get, and the older I get, the more I learn I don't need the power. It's so much fun trying to ride. I enjoy riding a bike to its potential, not mine. So some of these old bikes around here, little bikes, the things are squirming and they're asking for forgiveness, but it's just so much fun being able to ride a bike at that level. It's such a great fraternity too. There's less ego involved. There's still some egos there. I mean, they're motorcyclists, but they're a really good family. They're a good bunch of people. And when you go to the national meetings, like the Australian titles or something, you see the same guys that you've been bumping into, you hadn't seen since last year. The bikes are so interesting. Everyone looks out for themselves. They give a bit of space on the track because everyone's got to go to work. They've got a family and business to run, so there's some pretty tight moves, elbows out, but it's all safe. You don't feel like you're, at any risk. My first bike that I bought for racing was a GSXR 750 in 1988, and I probably got a little bit cocky maybe, and the Barry Sheen Festival of Speed at Eastern Creek in 2017, I had a bit of an off and hurt myself, and I don't know whether I don't think the confidence took a knock, but because it's been crashing bikes all my life, but mentally it knocked me around, I think, and anyway, I just lost the interest. In that time, a mate of mine was bucket racing. Bucket racing is a bike that you build from a bucket of bolts, just a bucket of parts, but it's essentially using bikes that are little commuter bikes or bikes that aren't meant to be raced. Small capacity 125 cc's. There's a few different classes, so you can modify them to a certain degree, but essentially they're all small bikes that are under 200 cc. Bucket racing is a whole world of fun. It's fantastic. You're doing everything that you're watching the MotoGP guys do, drafting, leaning on each other, at a fraction of the pace. So it's a heap of fun. It's brilliant. Despite my passion for everything old, I do have a modern bike. I've got a 2016 Honda Africa Twin, and it's a brute of a thing, but it's just so compliant, and the roads are crap, and riding this, it just eats everything up. You almost aim for potholes. It's great. And there's a 1949 BSA B33, a 50, it's a bit of a bit of the Gold Star, but it's about a 56 with an earlier motor in it. A lot of Gold Star parts on that one. Old GT 250 Suzuki. The Katana, it's a fantastic thing. That's a lot of fun to ride. The RG 500, I get to ride that. They're bikes that a very dear friend of mine owns, and but I get to look after that. I call myself the custodian. Another BSA, I think it's about a 71 or 72 BSA Rocket 3. Yeah, very nice bike. The TD3 is my main historic racing bike. 1972 Grand Prix bike, air-cooled, twin cylinder, two-stroke. It's as cranky as anything. You can't open the throttle under 8 grand, it just bogs. But when you get it right, it's an incredible little thing to ride. So the Indian here, I've never had anything to do with Indians, let alone historic ones. This is a 1934 Sports Scout. After going through everything, it was time to start it. So the first thing I wanted to do was learn how to stop it. A lot of the early bikes don't have an ignition switch, and you have to ground out the magneto or something like that. So I worked out this one did actually have a key. And so it fired up basically first kick. And then we had to figure out how to ride it, because these early Indians have a left-hand throttle, and you advance and retard, you operate the ignition with the right hand, and it's a foot clutch, right hand shift. At least the brakes are in the conventional position. So time to go outside and ride it. And it takes a hell of a lot of concentration to ride, because it's just so different. It's just so quirky. At the risk of sounding a bit arrogant, I've kind of done so much on motorbikes that this is like having to learn how to start riding again, and it's exciting. When I was out of work, I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. So I grabbed all my tools from home. I had about $2,800 in the bank, and I spent most of that on bond and my first month rent, and started a business. I just wanted to create the environment and the style of workshop that I wanted to work in. And it's just been fantastic. The feeling when you have people come to you and are willing enough to give their money to you, not the business that you work for, but you. And I thought, well, I've got to give them the same back. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I do try to do the best I can. It seems to have worked. I seem to have stumbled on something that the town needs, and I'm inundated with work. Yeah, look, initially it was just everything. I'll take anything. I was even working on Chinese bikes, and just to try and get the business established. But my goal was always to focus on classic bikes and historic bikes, vintage bikes, because that's where my passion is. I love them. It's mechanical. You can see, you can follow how power works through a gearbox. It's something that you can see. I'm trying to go down more the vintage stuff and the English stuff, but it's difficult because it's so far before my time that I need these old guys around me to be able to learn from. And because I want to absorb all their knowledge, like some of the knowledge that is in people's heads, and old school trade secrets like how to undercut gears in a box or something like that. It's when they when they fall off the perch or even get out of trade, that information's lost. I'm a hoon. I like riding quick. I like pushing the envelope. But luckily I managed to get through my younger days unscathed. So I can get that out of my system on the racetrack. So when it comes to riding around town or my own riding on the road, I love the vintage bikes. I'm so happy just poking along at 80 k's an hour on something that you can hear every time that piston goes down. And it's just pleasant. And that's what I do a lot of now with the vintage club here in town. Favourite ride? I just like around town. We've got some brilliant roads around Bathurst to ride on. A lot of them are just nice, quiet, unpainted roads, and they link up with so many other roads. So you can just go off and disappear for the day and get lost on roads that even though you live here, you've never travelled down them before. I would love to jump on a Royal Enfield or something and ride across the Himalayas. Yeah, that'd just be something else, visiting cultures that are just so different to yours. Actually, there's an event that started yesterday in Busselton, just below Perth, and it's going across Australia and finishing in Merimbula, and it's the Indian Pacific Cannonball Classic. If they do that again, I'm there. I can never, remember not being into bikes. I've just been surrounded by them my whole life. And I still get such a joy out of riding them. When you're riding along and you come over a crest and you see a couple of corners that you can piece together and you get through them, and it just feels great. I like the solidarity. I know everyone talks about the camaraderie between everybody, but I actually like it when I can put on my helmet and I can be anyone inside that helmet. It doesn't matter. And you're out just inside your own head with your own thoughts, riding along roads, thinking about things. It is an escape from reality, but it's just my life. Yeah.
I'll be honest, Nathan's BSA Gold Star is incredible, but click this link over here to see a video with Charlie that includes a Gold Star that might be even better.